We are learning more about the CIA's mission in the fight against terrorism, and it appears the gloves are off. Today, the Washington Post reported President Bush has given the agency specific authority and a lot more money to destroy Osama bin Laden and his network. ABC's Jim Sciutto has this report.
Today, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Richard Myers, spelled out the circumstances under which the U.S. would kill Osama bin Laden.
If it's a defensive situation, then, bullets will fly. But if we can capture somebody, then we'll do that.
Do you think Osama bin Laden will survive this war?
I don't know.
In an intelligence order signed just after the September 11th attacks, President Bush directed the CIA to use all available means to find and destroy bin Laden. The president also added $1.6 billion to fight terrorism, some of which will be used to fund 700 new CIA positions, including case officers. But the objective is not just bin Laden himself, but his whole network and the states that support him.
If anyone thinks that just by taking care of bin Laden we've taken care of the problem, they obviously are not aware of the extent of the challenge.
Since before September 11th, the U.S. had a series of intelligence observation posts inside Afghanistan that yielded video of bin Laden. But the U.S. had no capability on the ground to act on it. Since then, unmanned aircraft patrolling Afghanistan have been armed with anti-tank missiles in order to hit targets on the ground. Over the last several days, U.S. intelligence on the ground has improved, providing possible locations for bin Laden. That kind of intelligence was one of the main objectives of Friday's Special Forces operation. Others are planned for the future. Jim Sciutto, ABC News, the Pentagon.
In Afghanistan, the Taliban and Osama bin Laden are facing two battles. Today, the U.S. military campaign entered its third week with wide-ranging airstrikes, while on the ground, the Northern Alliance tried to press its advantage. ABC's David Wright reports from northern Afghanistan tonight.
In the capital, Kabul, today, one bomb struck near a Taliban military base north of the city. But eyewitnesses say the Taliban had evacuated the base, moving soldiers and weapons into residential areas. Local authorities tell ABC News 13 civilians were killed today, including 8 members of a single family. The U.S. military has not confirmed any civilian deaths. Near Jalalabad, east of Kabul, Taliban soldiers remain defiant. They say they're preparing for jihad against American forces, holy war. The Americans have forgotten history and haven't learned from it, says this Taliban soldier. We will bury their skulls in the mountains. Today, the Taliban cabinet said it would step up its defense against U.S. commandos by distributing more heavy weapons to the troops. On the northern front, Afghanistan's main opposition continues its assault on the strategically important city of Mazar-e-Sharif. These are the first pictures taken 5 days ago as Northern Alliance soldiers rode on horseback to fire on positions held by the Taliban. Local commanders say the Taliban are winning that battle. Tonight, U.S. bombers hit their front lines again in some of the heaviest bombing so far. Today, the foreign minister for Afghanistan's opposition forces rejected the idea of including even moderate representatives of the Taliban in any future government.
There is no such a thing as moderate Taliban. If they are moderate, why they are Taliban?
Tonight, the U.S. bombing runs continue, but in the north, local commanders say the Taliban are holding their ground. And here, north of Kabul, opposition forces have yet to gain an inch. David Wright, ABC News, Jabal Sarash, Afghanistan.
The nonstop bombing is causing thousands of Afghans to flee to neighboring Pakistan, or at least try to. 5,000 refugees crossed the border yesterday, the biggest single-day influx since the U.S. military campaign began. But today, the border was closed, and guards opened fire when a crowd demanded to cross. Tonight, more than 10,000 refugees remain at the border.